Good morning, guys. Doing a wheel seal here. Take the caliper off, just this, and I got to take this bracket off so the rotor will slip off. I got to take the axle out, of course. I got all my tools laid out here. I'm going to get after it. It's not leaking bad. The customer wrote it up where the wheel was smoking. You can see it's got oil all over it. So get this thing done. Take these 4 bolts out right here. Take them off instead of putting them on. Goes out. Big hammer. And you try not to hit the studs. Hey guys, I got the axle out. Gotta get this nut off of there. Get some light in there. Get that nut off. And it's got a locking tab. You can see it right here. Right here. See right there, it's bent over. It's got one bent over here. You gotta straighten them out before you get the nut off. So we'll be right back. Alright guys, I got the hub off. And that's the wheel seal. That's bad. And that bar right there. So I get them out. Just put this under here and pry. That pops them right out. Now it's going to make a lot out of me today. Very hard to do with one hand. See that? Bad wheel seal. I gotta take the bearing out. Take the cone out. That come out the bottom. The front rather. And then we gotta pressure wash this and get it all cleaned up. Go back together. So we'll be back. You will be back. Alright guys, I'm cleaning up the grease out of the hub and the rotor so I can put the new seal in there. It's this is probably the worst part of the job, cleaning all the grease off the rotor, off the brakes. So I'm gonna get after it. Alright guys, I got everything cleaned up. As you can see, no more grease on there. Got that all cleaned up. I got this is all cleaned up also. It's like needs to be cleaned. And I cleaned the bearing out just with some rags because I don't have any brake clean. The bearing goes in there first, and then that's the seal number we're using today. An aftermarket seal. So let me get it out of the package and we'll be right back. Look at that. Alright guys, I got it started in there. This is the tool you use. They want you to flip this over. So don't use that end on this seal. They want you to use a flat one. So I flipped it over. It just goes in here like this. This one's probably too big to get the seal in there. So I'm probably just going to tap it in there with a hammer. You can push the seal in by hand, but Let me see what I can do with it here. Alright guys, you got the seal in, and you want to make sure it goes all the way flush right here. It's all the way installed. As long as that's flush, you're all the way in. And the other trick is your bearing will only move a little bit. So, alright, now it's time to, I'll put a little bit of gear oil on this so it doesn't go on dry. And put the hub back on the spindle, which is over there. It's all ready to go now. So gear oil. There we go. This goes in first. Don't forget that. Like most of the time I do. Put that in. And this goes in. And your inner nut. This is a 2-nut system. Inner nut goes in next. That little pin has to go out. Get the thing started. Alright, that's that. You can torque this thing down because it does have that crush collar in it. And they want you to replace that crush collar. I don't replace it. I just use it over again. As you can see, it'll be perfect. No matter how much torque you put on this, it's always going to be perfect. And she will spin. And she's good to go. Next is this. This goes over that tab that's on the inner nut. Make sure the tab goes in one of the holes of this. And if it don't line up, which it's not lining up, just take it back out and you can flip it over and it should line right up. It lined up that time. And your lock for your outer nut goes on next. Always make sure there's a little bit of lube on these nuts so you don't break the tab off of this lock. This locking thing is in there. You got to bend the tabs over on the outer nut. This is all there is to it, guys. That's not going to come off of there. And then you bend the tabs over. I got my trusty bar here. I bend 2 over. Make sure it's not going to come undone. And this bar right here is the best bar ever to do that with. Let me show you what I did. That in there, these little tabs right here have to be bent over. I do 2 of them, one on each side, and then and that's all there is to it. She should spin freely, and she does. So I'm gonna put the brakes back together and put the axle back in it, and this one will be done, and the wheels back on it.